So we were talking about pumpkins over the past few days because it's pumpkin season, obviously. And we showed you how to make pumpkin ravioli and with like a cheesy cake paste. And today I want to show you something else, and that is how to make sweet pumpkin. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to slice squares, right? So we're going to use a mandolin, you know, and we're just going to slice it real thin and make little squares, which we're then going to put in a dehydrator, okay, for about an hour, hour and a half. But we're not using olive oil to moisten the sheet. It doesn't really matter which sheet you use, baking baking paper or a Teflon sheet. It doesn't really matter. But put coconut oil on it. Do not use olive oil because we're looking for, well, we're making a sweet and a dessert. And so I'm gonna slice my pumpkin now, and I'm going to put them in the dehydrator, and I will be back later on and show you how to make a really, really good sauce, okay? The filling. We've had the pumpkin slices that we were wanting to make as a sweet dish in the dehydrator for a good hour, hour and a half, actually. Normally 3/4 of an hour to an hour is enough, but I just like to let them sit in there a little bit longer. So we're going to make the filling, okay, for the sweet ravioli, if you will. They're not actually ravioli, they're little pockets. Diagnose, something like that. So, and I'm going to be using 3 nuts. I'm going to use the pecan, I'm going to use walnut, and I'm going to be using cashew. So each of them is like a little handful, like so. I'm going to be using nutmeg. So I'm going to put that straight on here. I love nutmeg. And it goes so well with a pumpkin, you know. So, lovely. And it also makes it less too sweet, if you know what I mean. Then we're gonna add some cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is really, really good for, it's a blood sugar regulator. And it stops you from getting all these cravings. Put plenty of that in there, which we love. And I'm going to put some, obviously everything I use is organic. I'm going to put 1 date in there. Yeah, no stone, that's good. Put that in, and I'm going to be adding some honey, but I'm going to be blending on, this is actually local honey, and I keep saying this, I always, wherever I am, I always try and get local honey. First of all, because it's great to taste them. This is like it's called, it's honey from the forest, so it's a forest honey. It's got a very strong taste, but it's beautiful, and it's just great to go with this recipe. I wouldn't use borage or something like that, but like a forest honey is just perfect for this recipe. So I'm gonna go and blend this up. Obviously I'm gonna add a little bit of water and then keep adding water just until I get the right consistency, because it's gotta be like a paste, otherwise it's gonna be too runny. You don't want it too runny, so don't add too much water from the outset. Add a little and keep adding more until you get it perfect, so that it's actually a paste that you can then place on top of your little squares, and then put another one on top. I just want to add something here. So I've used a teaspoon full of honey, no more, and I've just come across these. And this is a little bit like your allspice. So you can either use the allspice, or you can just do as I just did with the nutmeg, the cinnamon. These are cloves. Ground clove. So I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of that in there. It's just a fresh packet. I haven't even put it in its little jar yet. Ooh. Am I risking this? Yeah, I am, aren't I? Okay, that's enough. I don't want to put any more. So now I'm going to actually go and blend this up. Just close this. Just blended the paste. It's a good consistency. It's fairly, it's fairly pasty, if you will. If you like it a bit sweeter, you can put a little bit more honey in it. But before you go and spread it, I would always recommend that you taste it, okay? I don't like things very sweet, as you probably already know from some of my other videos that I've done, chocolate things and things like that. So, like I did last time with the ravioli, I like the bottom parts to be slightly thicker because it's just better that way to place them and to put the paste on top so it doesn't run through and things. So I'm going to put these here. So I'm going to make 2, 4, 5. I'm going to get 6, I think 5 from this tray. So, and my sauce actually. So I'm going to get a spoon for each of them. Just place that on top. Yeah, okay. So, just put a little dollop on each of them. Just remember I've used coconut oil, not olive oil. Okay. You can make this a little bit sweet spicy if you add a little bit of ginger, so you can add some ginger. So now I'm going to start putting these little sheets on top. Make like little pockets. Just close these off, make sure nothing can come out. So here we go. And you can see sometimes I use 2 of the thin ones, but it's just so much easier, you know, to just press down and make these little pockets. You can see. This one goes like this, and close it off, and then this one just to close it off here. Perfect. So once I've done that, I'm going to be putting a little bit more coconut oil on top. And on the sheet that I'm going to be using. And they're going straight back into the dehydrator for another probably 8 hours. You close them off in the end like that. Just make sure they're nice and closed off so the paste doesn't come out. Okay, so perfect. Those are my 2 little leftovers. Put these there. And so these are now going to go back on the paper. Olive oil, drizzle some olive oil on top of it too. Because they're not that big. And so I've garnished them a little bit with pumpkin meal, and I've literally just sprinkled this over the top, and I've put 2 dollops of the sauce which I kept a little bit of to just make this prettier. Okay, so I'm going to try this. If you want to make it sweeter, as I've said earlier, you can very easily achieve that by adding dates or some more honey. Those are my favorite 2 sweeteners because they're natural. And you can make a simple but very good sweet dish. So I hope you guys enjoy this when you try this at home. Let me know, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, ask me any questions you want. You can see in the titles how to get in touch.